Hi, this is Sarah Meixel with thepigsite.com, and today we're here with Jim Long. He is the president and CEO of Genesus. So thanks for being with us today, Jim.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure.
Very good. And we're here at the World Pork Expo. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with pork and with the swine industry around the world?
Okay. You know, China's the number one market, largest producer in the world, one of the biggest importing market. The situation right now in China is the average producer is losing about $30 per head US. So in my mind, that's a reflection of they've got quite a bit of supply. The expansion that has been underway in China has increased production, made more pigs available. If you take that number, $30 per head, that means the industry on average is losing 350 to 450 million US dollars a week. So the demand for pork for imports obviously will not be as intense as it's been in the past because obviously they have more pork.
And looking at trade negotiations are a hot topic obviously right now, and what's going on with the president here in the U.S. Do you have kind of any comments on that and what you expect to happen there?
Well, the Chinese government knows where sensitive areas is to affect American business and public opinion. Pork producers were very strong supporters of President Trump in the last election and still are. The Chinese, I think one of the reasons they have the opportunity to put the tariff on right now is they aren't really looking for a lot of pork because their profitability is down, so there's a little bit of both. I think it's like everything else, is negotiable. It's similar to the Mexican tariff that was just announced that, you know, they're going to look at implementing it in December, which, as we all know, that's after the U.S. congressional elections, and they're obviously giving a 6-month window for further negotiations before the tariffs would be implemented.
Right. Very good. How about Russia? What's going on in Russia right now?
Russia, there's expansion going on. The market is profitable. One of the key parts in Russia is that they basically stopped pork being imported from any country in the world. So what that done is it's been very supportive to domestic producers.
Very good. And so that's really to lift their prices internally then? And
I don't know for sure, okay? But I believe it's part of the government strategy to push to more self-sufficiency. So one way to expand is have producers make lots of money so that they have money to invest. It gives confidence to invest. But I believe long-term Russia will never be a key market for Europe again in the future.
Oh, interesting. Very good. And speaking of Europe, where's Europe stand right now?
Europe production is pretty static. Some countries up, some countries down. They'll be affected tremendously by the China market because that's been their primary export market. Producers have a lot of pressure. I just returned from Europe. A lot of pressure on animal welfare. There's certainly discussion that maybe tail docking will be stopped in the next near future, and castration. These things are all implications on production and will probably continue and increase cost of production for European producers.
And a lot of times what happens in Europe, we eventually kind of see here in the U.S. It might be, 5 years, 10 years down the road, but do you anticipate that in the future, or?
Yes. I think, how fast, I'm not sure, but all the consumer pressures, welfare pressures will continually be brought to the U.S. over time. Very
good. And overall, anything interesting in Latin America, South America?
The only market I really have any knowledge on is Mexico. Yeah. Mexico's been very profitable the last 3 years. The producers have been making very good money. They've been challenged by large amount of PED, which has eroded production and was what partially supported the prices. And we see expansion in Mexico. If the tariff goes in place, that'll be positive for Mexican, like the tariff on the U.S. pork. If that goes in place, be positive for Mexican producers. But I imagine by December there'll be some resolution that will stop that from happening.
Very good. Any reason why they haven't been able to get PED under control there?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it seems to be chronic.
Okay. Just curious if other parts of the world, haven't been able to. If it's
I'm not sure. I think maybe part of it is the climate is very mild,
Yeah.
and they don't get the cold maybe to slow down the virus. Like
Right.
in Canada, we get Canada, northern U.S. You get the cold, the winter, that probably
Kind of beats it down a little, huh?
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Well, thanks so much for all the information today.
My
Jeff.
pleasure. Thank you very much.
This is Sarah Mikesell with thepigsite.com.